Kenneth, let's turn the attention to the community and what does the SFA do annually to expand the profile of the sport?
So basically, we work closely with Active SG Floorball Club. It was formed in 2017-2018. Okay, to try to source for more dual usage hall, sports hall for our players. So at the moment, like I said, we have four halls. We aim to have even more, so that players have opportunity to train. Clubs have opportunity to train conduct training for their players, because we're noticing there's some dropouts in the number of clubs in the league, partly due to a lack of interest. So we are trying to work closely with the Sports SG and SG Floorball Club to see how we can help out in all these clubs. Also, this year we aim to work closer more with our affiliates. Okay, we want to know what's any issue they are facing at the moment. So we are going to conduct a few clinics, a few hit-around sessions with our affiliates. Firstly, also to impart high performance knowledge to our affiliates, so that they are able to go back and train their own team members, their players, and also to understand the concerns constraints they face on the ground, because sometimes the association do not really know what's going on the ground, like perhaps because of the high cost in league fees or lack of availability of training grounds is one of the constraints they are facing. Hence, that's why they're not progressing well as an association, as a club, as an affiliate. Yeah, so this is one of our steps we are going to do. Okay. Also, we will continue to work to introduce the sports to more schools. Okay, we are this year we are already doing it with some of the primary schools, where we bring the sports with our local coaches now, as part of their PE lessons. So this is a continuous project with Active SG Floorball Club that we will continue to.
Okay, and I'm assuming you do work with the private sector or the corporates to promote the game to them as well.
Yep. So we are trying to do a one-time competition among the corporate sector. So we are in talks with Civil Service Club, the ISCA, the Standard Chartered Accountants Association, also the Law Society, so that we can do one whole competitions together with all this corporate sector. In a way, it's more of also a networking session for all the players if we hold such an event, because at the moment our corporate leagues teams are also only playing among themselves. There's no exposure to teams from other sectors, like civil service playing civil service, accountants are playing accountants, and law society are playing law society. So we want to do a big umbrella under them, work together with their members to run annual competitions, or maybe a twice a year competition where they come down and have a competition. And
Okay. Coach Lim, could you tell us briefly about the ongoing situation with the local floorball leagues? I mean, how many teams are competing? What are they playing for? Prize money?
Okay, as of now we have 6 divisions of men's and 3 divisions of ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, so currently is the in-season for Division 5 and 6 men's and Division 3 ladies. So right now there are about 3 leagues that are currently going on.
So the men's division has about...
each division has about 10. Some divisions have 12 teams. The top few divisions have 12 teams.
Okay.
And the bottom 2 I think about 10 teams.
Okay.
So that amounts to about 64.
Yeah.
So what happens is that right now the division, like I mentioned, Division 5 and 6 is ongoing, and then the Division 3 for the ladies, and then they are not competing for prize money as of now, unless there's changes. I think that's up to SFA to handle and manage. Maybe they can find sponsors, everything. That's where prize money come in. But at the end of the competition, there's always a medal for the top 3 teams, I believe, and also the Challenge Cup, which they annually that there will be the winning team will be engraved like the Stanley Cup,
Right.
So it's about almost a similar format.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that recently there was a call to register to compete in a youth floorball league.
Yeah. So what happens is that there's actually 2 categories of this. It's a partnership between YFA and Youth Floorball Academy and Singapore Floorball Association. The idea is to promote or give more platforms for the younger players to play, and also to keep them occupied over the weekends and everything, to have a healthier lifestyle, and to in turn build across stronger communities through this effort, rallying together, because we see parents coming together because of the fact that their kids are playing together. So it's very heartening for us to see that not only the sports was able to unite players from different school, so they may be from different school but they're playing the same club in this under 16 and under 14 league that is going to come up probably because of the COVID-19 situation is now postponed. And schools are a bit reluctant to send because of the measure that the policies, changing policies that they are going through. So it's fully understandable. So we have postponed the league to await the situation out and then see how we can take it from here.
Okay. Mohammad SYAZNI, do our national players compete for private clubs as well?
Yeah, they do. Nearly all of them play for clubs, for the national players. And since we have 6 division, I think it's good for them to play more competitions, especially throughout the years. But of course, especially for last year, we have like Czech Open, we have AOFC, we have SEA Games in three different competitions in a year. So I think it's also important for them to take care of themselves during the league games, because we wouldn't want any injuries during the prep for especially the SEA Games last year. So I think this year we have like 2 competitions for us. So I think there's a lot of gap. So the league games will be very, very useful for the players, especially because it is nicely made to avoid the World Champs competition and qualifiers. So it's somewhere in between where we are still having that high intensity games for us to prep towards the World Champs.
Okay.
If we qualify.
Just now I think Coach Lim just forgot prize money. Is there prize money for the leagues?
No. I believe the association is trying hard.
Maybe next year. I hope.
Okay. SYAZNI, have you ever encountered a chance when a talented player is discovered while playing for the amateur ranks in the domestic league?
I would say, of course, there is of course opportunities for them. And also, it's very, very important also because talent itself. I think I've seen many players grow throughout the year. I mean, from like young gun to where they are now. I think some made it and some didn't continue floorball. So I think it's very important that talent itself is just not there. I think you need to put the hard work at the same time. So I mean, if they are given the opportunity, I feel that you should just grab it and not just let it go and just work hard for it if they want it so much. So I think that is very, very important. I mean, Singapore, there's plenty of talents. I think, to be honest, like what Kenneth said just now, nowadays it's different from last time. I mean, the U19 players now, they are more, to be honest, they are more skilled than the time when I started in floorball. So there's so many options and so many players to have the varieties of players. That is the matter of who you want or what kind of player you want and how disciplined he is, or how to say how focused it is to work hard, to work his way up to the men's national team. I think that is very, very important. And also as a student, they need to manage the time and etc. So these are the few things that they need to look into to work their way up to the national team.
Okay. Just want to add on to what SYAZNI said. I think the importance of the young players recognizing that even though they may be recognized for their talent, but like what he said, or if you don't put in the necessary hard work and to make the necessary sacrifices, it's going to be very tough. Like honestly, for a national athlete like SYAZNI now, he has to balance between work and to be training 5 times a week. Like you have 3 course training and 2 gym sessions and things like that. These are demands of a national players that is important. It's not all like you get to be a peer of media, you get to be celebrating, you get to be on YouTube. I think these are things that are nice to look at, but yet at the same time, the amount of sacrifices they have put in, the dedication, the amount of time that they could be spending with their loved ones, going out with their friends, but they are all spent into wanting to just do well in the sport and to do our nation proud. And I think this is something that I have always been appreciative of the players' time and effort they have put in, the dedication, unquestionable. And it's not like they are appearing just to sit down there. They are appearing, going to run, going extra mile for the PT, the sessions that they go through. Sometimes I'm thankful that I'm the coach now.
Kenneth, let's turn the focus to dollars and cents. Would you like to say a word or two about the NSA's sponsors or partners?
So at the moment, one good news is at the start of the year, we SFA have actually gotten the IPC status, the Institution of Public Character status.
Okay.
We can issue deductible revenue for our donors, tax relief for them. So it's one of added perk for our sponsors also. So we are also working closely with sponsors. I think our office under our GM Wendy is also working closely to try to hopefully we can announce some good news to all soon. We are working closely with some private sectors partners to bring them on board our sport.
Okay.
And,
Is the NSA's overall operating budget enough to meet your demands and programs, or what is the ideal amount that you're hoping to one day be able to have to run all of your programs successfully?
So basically, at the moment it's not enough, but at the moment we are prioritizing which event or which for the national team requires this fund. More importantly, we are prioritizing all these events to see which is more important.
Okay.
So it takes quite a lot of amount to spend to be able to run all the events. I would say rough estimate, say probably even $1 million per year to run all the association main events. So for example, if we were to send a national team out for a training trip, like to Czech Open, that costs more than $250,000 to send one team over. So that's the amount we are looking at, and but we are working closely with our partners to see our sponsors to see how we can work to help in a two-way collaboration with them. Yep.
So ideally, 2 million, if possible.
Yeah.
That's a nice number to have. So do you have one or two big plans for the sport in the near future, which would probably require even more financial resources?
Yes, we do. But just to clarify about the amount we need for sending a team over, roughly we need around $250,000 for both teams to fly over for like a recent Czech Open.
Oh,
That's
because you said just now $250,000 was for only one national team. So
but
in this case,
but it's for two teams.
The men's and women's
national team.
Okay. Now, looking at the future, one or two big plans does the NSA have?
Okay, one of the big plans is, of course, to continue to include floorball in SEA Games. So we are working closely with Thai Floorball Association as well as SNOC to hope to bring the sport back in 2023 in Cambodia. Okay. And also another big plan is we are actually looking to by 2022 to have a second home for floorball. Currently our national training center is our Tampines hub, so we are looking at another place where we can house the national team trainings in there, because at the moment we have actually 4 high performance team competing for the court space in our Tampines hub over the weekdays. So we are looking at securing one more venue, and in future we are looking towards even more youth under 17 teams coming up, so that the pathway can be more clearer for the players instead of straight to under 19. So we want to have more youth teams inside. So one of the key things we want to do is creating a pathway for national athletics, whereby even for recreation athletics, so for national athletics we are looking at towards from schools going up to the under 19s before national team, and then after that they can be a part of the community, or even fall into a floorball career, floorball as a career. So even for our recreational players, we are looking at like I said, the corporate leagues that we are coming up with, and in future once they get older, we are thinking of going get a masters leagues for them. One interesting thing I noticed recently in a conversation with one of our friends is that floorball is actually played even in old folks home, you know, in a nursing home, whereby they are using sticks even though they are sitting on a chair to hit the ball, passing each other. So we hope the sports continue to grow, reach out to more people, so that there's a pathway even for non high performance athlete. They can still have something to look forward to for the sport from competing leagues onwards. After they start working, you can go to the corporate leagues before going to the masters leagues and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Sounds it's a very broad and ambitious plan. Coach Lim, after the World Champs next month, what's next for the men's team in 2020?
So after the qualifiers next month, actually there is in talks for some of our athletes that are still studying. There's a World Junior Floorball Championship coming out in June. right? So that's most likely what is next on the calendar.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we will try to support that as much as possible, and also it's a good time for during this period while some of our athletes are actually competing for this World Uni Floorball Championship, preparing in their preparation for it. The others can take the time to work on our technical abilities, and for the younger ones to get used to the national athlete lifestyle like I mentioned earlier, to be able to transit better. So this time will be spent to helping them to transit in their journey, so that at the same time it will also be a good time for us to look at our local leagues. Is there any outstanding talents that we have probably missed out, or is there any rising talents that we could include in our national setup in the future?
Okay.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that are in the pipeline, and looking at that will be most likely in August. We are hoping to set up a bilateral series with Australia. Then what happens is that this will help us to be to play against athletes of bigger builds as compared to our Asian physics compared to the Caucasian physics. So we are looking to have bilateral series to go, maybe for us to travel there, play against them maybe like 3 to 4 times within a week. Then at least for the players to have enough sessions and experience to against play athletes that are bigger and maybe stronger.
Okay. A minute ago, Kenneth mentioned that I think one of the plans is to work to try and ensure that Cambodia, when they host the SEA Games in 2023, floorball would probably be included as well.
Yeah.
But right now, Vietnam is the next SEA Games host in 2021. Do we know whether they've not announced it yet?
Yes,
right?
they have not announced it. So as of now, because Vietnam do not have floorball, as far to our knowledge, they do not have a Floorball Association.
Sure.
So because of that, looking at previous accounts,
it
highly
won't happen.
unlikely it will not happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if floorball is not at the SEA Games, which looks most likely it won't, is there a major goal or target you've set for the team to achieve, to win in the next 2 to 4 years?
Internationally, there are still other competition, like for example the Asia Oceania Confederation Floorball Cup. These are still competitions that we hope to participate and do well in, and usually there are some side competitions that we can gear and veer towards. So those effort will be spent there.
Okay.
And eventually we want to look for other, maybe there are going to be other competitions that are happening in Europe that we may want to send our teams there to compete, so that they can be more well prepared for the WSCQs and WFC for the upcoming futures.
Okay. SYAZNI, I know earlier on you said the objective of the upcoming World Championship qualifiers is to finish at the top in Bangkok. I also understand that the CEO of Sports Singapore, Lim Teck Yin, paid you guys a visit recently, and and what did he say?
It's a gathering session between the sponsors and the management, and also with the national team. And I think it's a Sunday. I think just a introduction for floorball, and I think the CEO was there also.
Yeah.
I think I get the opportunity to be the one teaching him the floorball, and especially it's his first time playing floorball.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and at this age I think he did pretty well, and I showed him a few basics fundamentals for like the ball control, passing and shooting, and we did a bit of I passed the football and he take one-timer shots in, and we did together. They did drills, and then after that, to end the session, we played a game where the athletes mixed with all the sponsors and management teams, where they are split into different teams, including the athletes. So it's quite an interesting and fun day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kenneth, did he have a chance to speak to the about the upcoming qualifiers?
Yeah, so we actually spoke to him and the senior management of SG were down there. So we also introduced the sport to Mr. Singh Hot Lim, the new head of Active SG. So it's a good experience for both of them. I think this is both first time playing the sport. They understand the dynamics of the game, how the game works, or what kind of requirements is needed for the game, what the hall size, especially that we are using the courts of Active SG, which is under our Tampines hub. Yep. So it's a chance for us to mingle with them. Also, our sponsors were also down for this hit around session. So they also got to meet our sponsors and understands what constraints that we also face. And also we also brief Mr. Lim about the measures that we'll be taking for our national teams when they travel to Thailand for the competition in lieu of the virus and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. As the current team captain, what is your main hope to see the team achieve in the next few years?
Definitely to see the younger players rising up and developing themselves in the team, and to have. I mean, in the national team, there's the leaders of their own, but I think importantly how they get everything together and how they bond together is also very, very important, because in different competition there might be different set of players, but how for you to have that joint is the understanding between the players is very, very important, and everyone need to do that part to be with the team. I think that is one of the key to success if you want to achieve something in the competition, and I hope the future generation can work extremely hard and work their way up and achieve what they want.
Okay. Kenneth, as the president of Singapore Floorball Association, we'll let you have the last word. What would you like to see both of our national teams achieve in 2020?
Okay, of course, the main aim is for the men's team to qualify for the World Championship. Then we will aim to achieve as what our women's team have achieved in
the higher placing in the once we qualify for World Championship. Okay.
So for women's team, it's about continuity, because at the moment Louis have actually stepped down as a national coach. So we are looking to appoint a new national coach to lead the women's team, and also they'll be competing in the AFC Cup in probably July, September, third quarter of the year. So it's ensuring continuity in the team, bringing new blood, fresh blood, imparting ideas so that we can work towards next year's qualifiers for the women's. Yep.
Okay. And what is your message to the fans of floorball in Singapore? What would you like them to know for this year?
Okay, at the moment, I hope the football community stay bonded and resilient with regards to the virus. Okay, for our school players back at home, even though the national school games have stopped, just floorball involve also individual aspects of themselves. They can continue to do their own stick work at home, or also do their own fitness in preparation for once the national school games resume. So my assurance is the association working closely with MOE to ensure to see how the competition can be run leading up once the situations improve, and to ensure everyone have a back to normal playing time. Also, upcoming in the Floorball Premier League, we're going to be an exciting Premier League season coming up, because some of the teams actually have formed partnership with European clubs. For example, Dalen, one of the top clubs in Sweden, actually partner one of our Premier League clubs, collaborate with them. So it will be exciting times. Also, I think Struvata, one of the top Swedish club in Sweden, have also partnered with Black Wonder Sticks and YFA in it. So it's going to be an exciting competition leading up to the World Championship, especially in our Premier League.
Wow, it all sounds really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
So on that note, Kenneth, SYAZNI, Coach Lim, thank you very much for coming on board episode 14 of SG Sports Uncut. We all know that Singapore Floorball is in good hands. It's been doing well over the last, from the moment that the NSA began more than 20 years ago, and here's wishing you all the best of success at the World Champs, the qualifiers, and then the championships as well, and the women's team as well. So let's hope everything bodes well for floorball in the coming few years. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And we hope you just enjoyed this discussion with Singapore's Floorball Association, and let's hope for the very best for the sport of floorball as far as the community, the public, the schools, and the national teams are concerned. Meanwhile, if you have any concerns or feedback on the show, feel free to drop us an email at sgsportsuncut@gmail.com. Till the next time, I'm Raj Kumar. Bye for now.